Now, the horror of Punjab's bus attack brings back eerie memories of a heinous sexual assault that shook the consciousness of the nation in December 2012. Nirbhaya too was brutally assaulted on a moving bus and lost her life. Let's listen in to the reaction of Nirbhaya's parents to this incident. Deputy Editor Shiv Arur is now joining us with a perspective on the story. Shiv, the vicarious liability lies with the Badals as well in this case. How can they just get away by saying that it's a blunder?
Well, they've called it a blunder. They've called, for action against the people who've been arrested. They've called for the, the full force of the law to actually come down on the people responsible for this crime. But they've commented, they've said, next to nothing about, like you said, the vicarious liability that obviously, lies on them as well as, the owners of this transportation company. Now, with all of these buses actually plying there, isn't it the liability of the owner to ensure, there's always safety on board these particular buses? How can Sukhbir Badal or any of the other Badals turn around and simply say that this incident is unfortunate and that everything is, everything possible under the law is being done to bring those to justice? Also, you've got the Badals actually saying that they're not involved directly in the running of this particular company and that they own some shares in it, but they have nothing to do with the day-to-day operating of this particular transport company. It's the thing is, the Badals appear to be completely cornered as far as the liability issue is concerned. But even as we continue to cover this story, and remember, Maha, it was headlines today that was first to establish this entire ownership pattern of the Orbit transport services in Punjab. I think the heat is going to increase in Punjab. You've got Harsimrat Kaur Badal who's come out and spoken. You've got Prakash Singh Badal who's come out and spoken. You've also got the Chief Minister of Punjab, his son, the Deputy Chief Minister Sukhbir Badal, who's come out and spoken about this, which gives you a sense of just how close home this issue actually hits. It's their own company. The politics surrounding what's happening with the Badals has been intensifying over the years. The spotlight on the Badals, their companies, the way they actually operate within Punjab, that the fact that the law never applies to people in the ruling party, their family, their friends. I think this particular incident where a 14-year-old girl was brutally mauled on board that bus owned by the Badals, flung out of it. She was killed. Her mother still fighting for her life in a hospital. Really underscores many different things concerning Punjab politics right now. And that's why you're seeing so much alacrity with the Badals and Harsimrat Kaur Badal come out to clarify and try and distance themselves from this.
Shiv, also the bus staff in this case joined the group in molesting the teenager and passing lewd comments. The driver, in fact, not stopping the bus but sped away when the mother pointed out to him that this is what was happening with her teenage daughter. Now, it appears, and it's really scary, Shiv, that the criminal antecedents of these persons are never checked.
Absolutely, Maha. That's a very important point, which, we hope the Punjab police will go into in great detail. A senior police officer who held a press conference just a short while ago in Punjab said that their investigation will not be hampered by the fact that this bus is actually owned by the Badals, which is something that the opposition is actually scoffing at, because one of their allegations has always been that the law and order and investigative machinery in Punjab has been completely under the control of the ruling family. In fact, simply functions like their, personal security force. Now, the simple fact of the matter is the antecedents of the people who've been arrested, the bus conductor, the bus driver, anybody else who was involved, in the running of these buses, whether incidents of this kind have happened before. This particular one has come to light because it was an extreme incident where the girl actually lost her life. But we've got to ask the question, has this been happening before? Do, people in the employ of the Badals believe they're completely above the law? Do they actually believe they can get away with it? How many of those people employed with Orbit and other companies owned by the Badals have criminal antecedents? Okay. How many of these reports have been suppressed because of political pressure within Punjab? All horrifying questions that perhaps will come to light now that there is such a big national focus on the Moga horror.
Shiv, do stay with us. We're getting some more breaking news with regards to this story. We are hearing that the Ministry of Home Affairs has now sought a complete report from the Punjab police over this horrifying incident coming to light from Moga. Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu is now joining us with more details. Kamal, how long a time has the Ministry of Home Affairs given to the Punjab Police to submit its report? Because action is required immediately in a case like this.
Well, remember, Maha, law and order is a state subject, but in controversial cases, as in this one, a report has been sought by the Central State Division of Home Ministry, and obviously that discretion lies with the state government. But there is a certain amount of time after which a reminder is really sent. But at this time, the ball is definitely in Punjab's court, but a report has been sought.
Kamal, and we saw a lot of people skeptical about what the police is really going to do in this case, because the Badals are in power, and even at the centre, they are part of the NDA.
Well, definitely. So it's an embarrassing situation for the Badal government in the state and for the NDA in the centre. But definitely there is no direct involvement of the Badals in this particular case. So yes, as far as the onus is concerned, would lie on the driver as well as the conductor and the incident as how it happened. But yes, this is a case which could have avoided embarrassment to both the party in the state as well as the centre. But yes, this will be a police case. An investigation would be done, and perhaps a probe would also be done as to whether there were rules and regulations which were followed. Remember, in cases like these, where Badal has already come out and saying it was an unfortunate incident, and yes, they are stakeholders in the company, there would be a certain pressure. And remember, the accused have already been arrested. The case is already in progress. So yes, they would be put behind bars. The law will take its own course. But this is something that could have been avoided, considering that Parliament is in session. There has been concerns regarding women's safety and security. And when the government's own agency is involved, then perhaps there is a greater scrutiny, as in this particular case. The law will have to take its own course, and a lot of pressure on Punjab Police to act in a certain way.
Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu and Shiv Arun, many thanks for joining us with those details.